but it's just like I see 20 feet of the path. There's a sheer cliff into nothingness, like 1,000 feet below or whatever. And then it's just mist and clouds. And that's kind of, I think, kind of the visual, that's stuck in my head sometimes with like, he's there, he's leading, here's the path, but like we only know this stuff in front of us or barely even that sometimes. And that like is frustrating, but I think that's also part of the like faith.
Cute, but dumb. Cute, but stupid.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of For the One Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Merlino, and today we are continuing our conversation with Kevin. If you have not watched part one, please make sure you go do so before you watch this, or you might be a little confused. But today we are continuing in the conversation I got to have with Kevin, and this is part two of that episode. Enjoy.
I feel awful. I don't know that. Like, but
we're.
That's again where it comes in. Like, I've been at this for 30 some years, and
That doesn't mean you have the entire Bible memorized.
I should. I mean, like 12-year-old boys have to memorize the Torah. Leviticus in there too.
Sheesh.
So like, and that's
7 goats, 2 rams,
yeah,
and a partridge in a pear tree. That's not in there. That is not in there.
But that I think there's something too, even within American culture and American Christianity or Western Christianity, is that like we don't do the work.
No.
Like,
Again, but this goes back to the spoon feeding.
Yeah. And maybe it takes, I don't know, some of that to fall apart so that we realize we need to do it. I don't know. But it's like, yeah, we could just look it up. But it's like, well, no, there's like part of the process in Judaism is that it's like you're going to learn the Torah. You're going to read, you're going to memorize the entire Torah. Like that, and that's a lot. I mean, but it's not.
You know what else they do? Sabbath. Like it's just in the culture. Like there's no ands, ifs, or buts.
Yeah.
You have Shabbat.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's you got to work on that.
I really got to work on that. But so does
I do too.
The whole Western church has to work on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
again, it's that culture thing where it's like we let culture define us instead of Christianity,
which is crazy because it's one of the commandments. Like any other commandment, I'm saying as a Christian, any other one of those commandments, you'd be like, oh my gosh, I cannot have idols. Like, right, most Bible-believing, Jesus-loving Christians would say, can't have idols. I want to make sure I respect my mother and father. Like I don't want to lie. I'm definitely not going to murder somebody. Like most of us are like, I would not do these things. And the one thing we do every week of our entire lives is not hold the Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking to myself. Like I'm not above anybody on this. I'm like the worst. I'm the chief sinner, right? What did Paul say? I'm the chief among the sinners. Yeah. Like I'm the worst at that. But again, it's like a cultural thing. It's like we just it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
Like culturally, it's not okay still to kill somebody. So like that one, it's like, oh well, that's easy to hold, to uphold that one. But it's like because there's a legal consequence, but it's like the Sabbath, we just that's the commandment that every believer
for the most part, don't throw everyone in with us, like,
but I would say has broken at least once. I'm saying in America,
because even because I read through that book like
the Sabbath book
3 or 4 years ago at this point.
Okay.
I think.
Like I said, I started it 2 years ago, but I didn't finish. So, but it's fine. I should restart anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's good. It's convicting. And I love the way, and you'll get people who say different things because some people can be very ritualistic with it too. Or very like, you can't do X, Y, and Z and stuff like that. So there's a lot, maybe nuance around it or whatever, or conviction. But the root of it is like forcing yourself to pause and to rest, to taking the day. And part of it too is like it's unnatural, it's unconventional, doesn't feel safe to do that, especially even as a freelancer. Because there was a season where I was trying, and I think I've kind of swung almost too ritualistic at this point, and I'm working through that right now, trying to figure out like what
that's
is.
good that you recognize like that.
Yeah,
that was like recognizable to you.
I think right now, I'm in a place where like, so I've been trying like every Saturday I try to treat that as a Sabbath, and I think right now it's become probably ritualistic in I'm like too afraid to do anything that would potentially be work where I do nothing and I just like sit and like doom scroll and stuff like that, which is not what it is. So that's just what I've been processing through recently.
Yeah.
Recently by me, a few months, which is not good.
Yeah.
But like I think some of it too is like it's hard to do Sabbath without other people too, and that there's an element of Sabbath is with people.
Yes, and that's how I feel too. I'm like, if I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this well, I need people.
Yeah. But it is about that, like doing things that you enjoy and doing things that are life-giving and like moments where you can meet with God in that too. So some of the times I've just gone on a hike and just like, you know, I'm just being in nature because I really love that, or listening to music, or like just kind of praying too as I'm walking through nature or something. But I feel like too, there's a lot of creativity within that as well, where it's like something
the play.
Yeah, where like it's a time to play, like to do things that you wouldn't normally do, but that you enjoy, that bring life, and that you can meet with God and you can do this with people. Like a lot of it too is like having a meal with people.
Yes,
it's huge, I think.
Yes.
And it's interesting because in 2023, I think it was. Yeah. I went to Israel, and it was so interesting seeing like being there on Shabbat.
How they do
like everything shut down.
I was gonna say everything
crazy.
Closes down, right?
Yeah, everything that's Jewish is closed down. So, but even like in like the street, like there was barely any cars out.
Wow.
I mean, there was some that like now and then or whatever. Because I think I was in Jerusalem, for the one. I feel like I was there twice or like two Shabbats. I don't remember, but I know the one was like it was like the day before I was leaving too, so it was like, oh crap, this is a little weird. And I think too, I like needed food, and I'm like, oh crap, I like can't go anywhere practically.
You're just knocking on someone's door,
like, yeah. But that's something bread? Too where you need to plan too, and that's what I struggle with too. Like I always try to like do the dishes the day before, so I don't have dishes, and then don't do dishes on Shabbat,
right? Or like get ahead on laundry. Or, yeah. But it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Or even like I was at a place where probably a little too crazy, where like I was not even responding to work texts, which is probably not good. But then I kind of was like, okay, I'm responding to them to be like, just to acknowledge it and care about them as a person, because I feel like that would be what it should be. It shouldn't be like I'm going to ignore this until you know Shabbat is over.
Right.
But
also, though, I'm like, honest to God, no, we're in the freelance game, but honest to God, like the amount of times that I either haven't or I've severely waited and hesitated to answer a work situation in hours past like 7 p.m. or on a Saturday or Sunday. Like, I think Sundays I got pretty rigid on. Like, I'm like, if you're texting me on Sunday, you will be waiting till Monday to hear from me, because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, to a point. So, like, I hear you. I'm not saying to, like, not respond to anybody or to, like, shut people out or, like, not be courteous if, like, something's more urgent. But I'm like, in the grand scheme of things, if I cannot take a day or two to not have to respond, like, that's stupid. And that's our culture. But I think, again, that's, like, going against the culture. And, again, it's in a small way. Like, I'm not, like, this isn't a revolutionary, like, concept, but I'm just like, personally, I'm like, when I think about it that way, I'm like, this is ridiculous that I can't have, again, like like Saturday, Sunday, whatever, that like you can wait till Monday. Like this, it's not that deep, fam.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But,
and that's also, I think, a cultural thing where, like, especially in the freelance world, like, it's expected that you're glued to your phone and you gotta like, I've lost jobs because like I don't respond within an hour.
Because some of them, they'll send a text out to like 5 different whatever your position is, and if you're not the first one to respond, you don't get the job.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get that. I do understand.
I get that
from
too.
an extent.
I get that too.
But,
and I'm also like,
yeah.
You know what? Lord's my provider. Then I wasn't supposed to be on the job. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's I don't know. The older I get, I also though, like the whole work thing for me, see, this is where I'm like, this is not my identity. This is not like nothing about it is that deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is hilarious because then I'm on shoots and I'm anxious, but that's a whole other conversation. Because I still care about how I perform. I still care about how I show up. Mm-hmm. So like I want to make sure like I'm tip top, like what I'm supposed to be doing. That's where my anxiety comes from. But then like any other context that you ask me about, I'm like, it's not that deep, fam.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. I think there's a balance to that of like responding, not responding. But I know Charlie Kirk was like, my phone is in a drawer for 24 hours. Like when him and Erica, like Sabbath, like whatever, he was like, I don't check my phone for a day.
Yeah. And then, I mean, that's
too bad, so sad.
I don't know. That's probably how it should be sometimes. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's probably individualistic too, of where like some people that's what they should do, some people not.
Yeah.
But it's even like like just weird, but B&H. Like they're Jewish, so they shut down. Like literally, you cannot order.
I didn't know they were Jewish.
Yes, yeah. So like whatever in the afternoon on Friday till whatever Sunday,
you can't even place an order.
You cannot place an order. You can browse on the website, but it's shut down. But I think that's the cool thing where like
that's like Chick-fil-A being closed on Sunday.
Yeah, like it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible to do stuff, even like running like a legit business, like a big business, like Chick-fil-A. Like
you say, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, like this is it.
And your customers adapt and it's like, too bad.
Yeah, and they'll go somewhere else on Sunday or whatever, but that's fine. But that's just our culture that we're going to be living in.
I did not know that about them.
Yeah,
I must have never ordered anything on a Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, like, why doesn't this work? But I think too, and even just experiencing it in Jerusalem too, just was seeing that of like, no, this is how they do things. Like this is just a culture, and like they worked everything around that.
Yeah.
And even like as a tourist, I had to work around that. There were some places that were still open because they were Muslim, but like that worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was crazy just like going through the streets, and it just feels like I don't want to say dead, but like it's empty.
Yeah.
Everybody's in their homes. I feel like I don't remember if there was music at one point too. I don't remember. Too.
I remember, so it must not have been you, but somebody else. I must have listened to their podcast because they described a similar experience that they were there on Shabbat, and they did say something about music. They did say,
I know the Bible Project. I know because Tim
maybe
Mackey
it was the Bible Project.
Yeah, he lived in I don't know if it was Jerusalem. He lived in Israel, we'll say for sure. I don't know if it was. I think it was Jerusalem. I think it was. And for like 6 months or something. I don't know. Some period of time, whatever.
It probably was him. This is sounding familiar.
Yeah, because this was older. This was from a while ago.
Yes.
But he was like, just describing that where like there was like you would hear music and there's just like family, like you'd be going past and those families like doing their like this is their Shabbat.
Yeah.
Like it's at like because it is cool too. Like just like there is a very like. I don't know. I hate using the word like ritual, but there's a lot of rituals around it too that I think are very good. And like because there's like lighting the candle and then saying prayers and like then like praying for the kids and stuff like that, like blessing the kids and stuff too. Like there's a lot too within that. This is within Judaism, specifically. But it's like I feel like a lot of that hasn't passed through, at least now in modern Christianity, where I feel like it probably was very prevalent in the early church.
The more I'm getting into biblical study, the more I'm getting into just even like the disciplines or things about our faith, I'm like, we really need to be looking at the Jewish people in how they're doing these practices or the symbolic things that they have in their, again, not to call them rituals, but in their practices. And it's like, and then that goes back to, we've talked about like the Hebrew words.
Yeah.
That it's like, there's just, our English Bibles are so sad to me. Like in the English, I'm saying, compared to like when you start to learn, like, oh no, they actually use this Hebrew word and it's like, what? Like it changes the definition. It changes, like more times than not, to me, it changes the entire characteristic of that verse that you're reading. You're like, because the English doesn't even begin to like cover it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even begin to like actually get to the depth of like what was being said.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how much are we missing? I think The Chosen helped a lot.
Yeah.
Even too, because of them instilling so much of the Jewish cultural traditions into the show.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know Shabbat. I did not know that word until The Chosen.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I learned Shabbat and like, oh, dude, last night I'm reading Exodus, the whole, tabernacle design in Exodus 25 or 26, whatever. It's like Jackie Hill Perry put out a song called Menorah on her latest album. And then I'm reading about the lampstand, which I'm then like, I watched a video on separately. I'm like, oh, this is the menorah. Like, again, I've been a Christian my whole life and I'm just now starting to understand or figure out like what the menorah is and why it's important. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's teaching this?
Yeah.
Not the pulpits.
Yeah. Well, that's where it's
Most of them.
I like that depth though too.
Me too.
And because we're weird like that.
Yeah,
and a lot of
nerds.
people are like, oh, that's too much or whatever. Like, but I think that's the thing too in the body, in like having people who are super weird nerds that will deep dive in this stuff and then be able to share, even if it's just sharing the like random tidbits of hey, here's this thing, here's this one word.
Right.
Because it's funny too, Mackie, he was talking about like preaching and stuff too, and he was like, usually whenever I do something I only try to introduce like one Hebrew word because everybody gets like lost after that. And I'm like, oh, that probably is a good thought. Like,
yeah, me and you are like, no, give us another one.
Just like start reading it in Hebrew.
Yeah. just read the whole thing in Hebrew. Shoot, go off. The Super Bowl was in Spanish. What does it matter? Oops, I said that.
I didn't watch it, so
I didn't either.
Want to. I don't care.
You wouldn't know what
it was
it says.
Because we were there. Like that was great. Like, we were hanging out, and like the Super Bowl's not on, and we're just hanging out after group. Like it's great.
Nobody in our group cares.
Yeah, it's funny.
Nobody in our group cares.
I don't care about a lot of stuff like that, but yeah.
The older I get, same.
Yeah. I feel like I had. Oh yeah, let's go nerdy. I didn't bring the book with me, but
okay.
I legit. This is super nerdy. I legit read a book on Leviticus.
Wait, I might need that.
Yeah.
I'm coming up on Leviticus here shortly, and I may need that.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was called, but yeah.
But you have it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not highlighted yet, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fresh.
Yeah.
All right.
I listened or I watched or read it digitally, so I like highlighted the digital.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, because it dives into like, even if it's, so that's like the center. So with the Torah, that's
the
Leviticus
center.
Is the center.
Yes.
And then, which in Hebrew literary style, like the center is very important. Like we have like usually the end is important or whatever, but like the center is important. And then the center of the center is the Day of Atonement. So it's like, that's where everything is.
There it is. There it is.
And then like, even within that of like how it's like mirroring of like these chapters here mirror these chapters here at the end, like at the start to the beginning.
Yeah.
And kind of like almost, there's a really cool chart. This is nerdy.
I love it.
But like it has like everything kind of almost leads up to the pinnacle of the Day of Atonement. And then even within that, because they also talk about the cosmic mountain and how like it's the mountain is like you're preparing to go to the mountain to meet God. And then that is the garden, that's where the temple is at the top of the mountain.
Yes.
A whole
yes,
whole nerdy
which again goes
trail.
Back to Eden and the tabernacle.
Yes, and all that
symbolic
all
of
that
mirrors
each other. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah. That's the fun stuff.
No, I think what helped last night was there's 2 YouTube videos. I'd seen the one before randomly when I wasn't reading about the tabernacle or anything, and they're like 5 or 6 minutes, but using CGI. This was before AI. They're a couple years old, but using CGI, they basically read the scripture of like the Lord's instruction as they're showing you visually like what this would have like looked like. And for me, I need to see, because like if I'm just reading like, and it's this many cubits by this many cubits, and you're going to do 50 of these and 10 of these, and I'm like, there's too many numbers. Like if I start to get too many numbers, like my brain's like, I don't even understand what's happening. But then I like read a little bit, watched the video, then I read the rest of the tabernacle, and then it's even showing like this is where the menorah is, this is where the bread of the presence is, like this is on the south side, this is on the north side, this is the basin, like, and seeing it and then reading it, it just was like, oh. Yeah. Like it just makes so much more. I'm like, okay. Like now I'm following. Like, oh, whoops, see, I'm talking with my hands. And it's like, you know, the ram skin to cover it, and then you're gonna do this curtain, then this curtain, and I'm like, okay,
cherubims on the curtain.
Cherubims on the curtain. Yeah.
And then you take, I think that the other really cool thing too is then you take that imagery and then you map it onto the to Eden, and then like you're seeing parallels to that, like you're passing through the
veil,
the
curtain,
through the guards, you know, the cherubim who are guarding, and then into that, and then here's like the main plate, and then the tree. This is the tree of life.
Yes, in the center of the center, the center of the center.
There we go again.
Tree
and
of
then
life.
you map that onto like in Revelation, then to the end, and seeing the mirrors there too. Yeah.
And the Bible Project did a good job at that. Where they because again, I'm using their Bible plan on the YouVersion app, so they had a video where they were kind of talking about the parallels between the tabernacle and Eden, and like with the cherubim. But again, the only thing, and I'm not like, it was really helpful, but their video wasn't as in depth on the actual tabernacle. So like that's where I went to the YouTube, and I was like, okay, let me see the CGI of like what this actually probably looked like. Also, just the thought of like, these Israelites had to move that. Like they had to move, because like you got to, they're like, and then you're going to put all the acacia wood is gold. Then you're going to do this and this is silver. Then you're going to do this and it's bronze. And I'm like, do you know how heavy all that? But, and like to think like they're traveling through the wilderness.
They're going to take it down.
They're going to take it down and move all of it. And what's crazy is like, not crazy, but like cool is like God designed the altar and the Ark of the Covenant specifically, and the table where the bread of the presence was. He already like pre-designed it with the instructions for it to be movable, for you to insert the poles to carry it.
And then too, all of that mirrors heaven too.
Yes.
Because that's what, like, even in Exodus there, it's like you like take this design that's basically like heaven or whatever. I don't know the exact wording.
And then I like want to do more study on the menorah, because I'm like, I know of the 7 lampstands in Revelation, but now I'm like, oh wait, the menorah and like how it's designed. I'm like, you know, it's just like, again, I'm just now starting to like put, you know, 2 and 6 together.
But I think too, like, and that's the crazy thing is like, you know, you've been at this your entire life almost. Like the same thing with me, and like in the like, that's not good that it's taking this long to figure things out or see these resources, like but I think too, you know, technology obviously is probably sped that up too. But also this is a maturing process where I then give myself grace of like, Nicole, like you weren't in the position to understand this at 16. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not calling myself stupid then, but I'm just saying like there is like a natural maturing the solid food that happens where you go from the milk to the meat, and it's like, okay, well now these, and then I think too of like, well, how close were you engaging with the Lord? What were you asking the Lord for? See, like now in the last 2 years, I've been like, Lord, give me wisdom. Lord, give me spiritual revelation. Where like now these things through the Spirit are able to make more cohesive sense. That just was not something I had when I was 10 years ago, when I was younger. True. And I didn't know I needed to ask for that either. Like I didn't, you know, I knew the whole like ask and you shall receive, but like I didn't understand the whole like, oh, I can like literally ask for wisdom of the scriptures, and like the revelation, like God will bring the revelation through the Holy Spirit. Like I didn't get that. Which is like why now one of my burdens that I'm passionate about is like that. Like how do we, it's the whole podcast, right? It's like I still want to be able to like reach the one that is like left the 99. And also I want the sheep that are in the flock to mature and to like sustain in their relationship like with the Lord, and to like continually have intimacy, continually have
new revelation of who God is. Like, that's like my burden.
Yeah.
In that is like, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've been at this 20 years. I just learned so much in 2 that I didn't in the 20. Was the 20 still important? Was it still foundational and like building blocks? Yes. But I'm like, if it's like 20 years versus 2 years, I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, like something you said in there too. This is probably weird, but like I have like a burden for the church and for like, and I was like, oh, if I like, I shouldn't say this.
Say it.
If I were to start a ministry, which, yeah, shut off. Oh gosh. It would be like,
you heard that. I know you did.
Yeah. I shouldn't say this. That's why I'm like hesitant. No, it'd be like this is a stupid name, but gets the concept across. It would be like 99 ministries. So it would be like ministering to the 99.
Yeah.
Because I have a burden for like that's great. You're coming in like, evangelism, getting people into the church, all that stuff. That's great.
Yes.
It's necessary.
Yes.
That's not my passion.
Yes.
But it's like once you're there, that's where like the work starts.
How do we do this?
Like how do we cultivate this? How do we help people grow?
Yep.
Because that is like, because I've just experienced that my entire life of like, here I'm in this and like, okay, there's ways that are not working. There's ways that are working. There's things that are like, well, if I would have known that 10 years ago, probably would have changed things.
Yes.
But that's also why I love like Bible Project and resources like that, where it's just like, this is awesome. Like you can like just deep dive and like.
But this is also, the body has many parts. This is where me and you have more of a burden, more of a gifting, just in even how the Lord brought us up in the church. I think we just have more experience in that to go to the 99.
Yeah.
Again, we still love the one. Like we still, again, to me, that is a priority. But like, I also can acknowledge and recognize the fact that people like Mark and Aaron, for example, very different experience from us in just their life so far and how they came to Christ. It's like, I look at them and I'm like, you are evangelists. Like you are 2 people that like, and I know Mark has done this on several occasions. He's out here like me, like he's just like, oh, I have a word for this person. Oh, hey, Jesus loves you. Oh, like that's I'm like, that's not me, fam. I'm not saying I haven't done it. The Lord had me do it a couple weeks ago and it was very uncomfy. And I was like, listen, I think you should go to my brother Mark or something because this is not my gifting. But the Holy Spirit chooses who and when and why and where and all that stuff. So in that moment, he was like, you better tell this person that the Lord loves them. But I think that, again, that the Lord uses and redeems our experiences where we have deep experience in the church and coming up in the church. So we're able to speak to that on a level. Someone like Mark and Aaron, they have experience not having Christ as much in their life and being more in the world, that they can then meet people and speak to them with an authority that we cannot.
Yeah.
They have authority over that area and territory.
Yeah.
Because they lived in that and now are outside of it.
Yeah. And people can connect with them because like they, they whatever.
Yes, they can relate.
Did X, Y, and Z, or we're in X, Y, and Z, and like I can't relate. Like there's sometimes people are saying stuff, I'm like,
I can't relate to that.
I don't. I did not live that lifestyle. Yeah, that's why I don't like gangster movies or like drug movies or whatever. I'm like, I can't relate.
You're not a mobster.
Sorry. Yeah, but I guess somehow I relate to middle ages. Like
I thought you were gonna say Middle Earth.
I mean that too.
I relate to Frodo.
That is true.
I get it.
Bilbo. It's Bilbo for me.
Oh, Bilbo. Yeah.
We're doing it now.
Yeah. Guys, get a close-up of Kevin's mug. Y'all gotta, came prepared with smog.
It's the Lonely Mountain.
Yes.
Little, drop that Tolkien.
Yeah. I think it's Job when God's describing to him Leviathan. And I'm pretty sure it's in this Bible. I have a note that I kind of did. And I was like, is this where the inspiration for smog came from? Because literally as God's describing Leviathan, I'm like,
you can't cook him. Smog. You can't scales.
Literally. Yeah. It's like, how are you going to bring him down? And he's breathing fire and smoke coming out of his nostrils. I'm like, okay, Tolkien, I see you.
Bard can do it.
Bard can do it with the black arrow. The black arrow, right? Isn't that what they called it?
Think
it might be called something else. See, this is
where
the
black or the red. I don't remember.
Oh, it's definitely black. Then
it's
not red.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
I just was like, maybe they didn't call it that, but I called it that. I don't know. It was a black. It was a black arrow. Yeah. Last one left. Hero of the story. Good old Bard. No, but like, see, this is where you have more knowledge of that than I do. But yeah, I don't even know what I was saying. I got so excited about the smog mug. I don't even know what I was saying. There's just something to be said of, again, like using just personal examples of us, Mark, Aaron, whoever it is, of like people being gifted and having authority in different areas of ministry and doing ministry. Again, it's like evangelism, we can and we will do it. It's just not probably the predominant way that you and I are kind of made to function.
Yeah. And I think that is, and I think there's a obsession within the church of evangelism. It's good. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but like there's such a focus on evangelism that I think the focus is to the detriment of some of the rest of the body. And I think the burden that I have is like that. And I think too, just growing up in the church, I've seen so many people over the decades just walk away from the faith. And that is hard. That's like, just, I don't understand it because I'm like, I don't know how we experienced a lot of the same things.
Right.
To an extent, like, I don't know their home life or whatever.
Yeah.
But like we experienced very similar things together and like, I'm still in this. And then they're just like, peace out. And I don't know what, obviously they have their experience in that too. That's very, very valid, but there's something that led them to that point.
Yeah.
And that I don't know what that is, but to me, a lot of the times it's like a lack of discipleship or like that actual community, or they're going through something hard and then there's nobody for them, nobody there for them.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, oh, just, shut up and blah, 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 or whatever.
Right.
Not that leadership would say that, but like,
yeah.
You get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Someone didn't show up how they wanted or expected, maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's, yeah.
Disappointment.
I've just realized recently of just like, we tend to have expectations on a lot of things, even God. We kind of put him in a box often.
Yep.
And we expect like, even like too, just like we expect this Christianity to be this very specific thing of like, oh, I'm just gonna, be rich and, life's gonna be great. And like, I'm gonna go to heaven and it's gonna be great. There's not gonna be any problems. And church is gonna be perfect.
What possibly could go wrong?
Yeah. And that's like these unrealistic expectations.
Yes.
And like within that, even within, community too. Like I had an experience with a friend who, and I think this was the moment that I realized expectations were like, oh, this is a whole thing. Like we were hanging out and I like had voiced that like, oh yeah, I want to go, see the sunset. And we were like just hanging out and playing, Frisbee or whatever. And then I was like, hey, like, it's gonna be sunset soon. Like I want to do that. And then, like he was like, oh no, let's just keep, doing this because we're here. And, because I wanted to go in my head, and I didn't realize this. I had put this expectation that I want to go overlook the city, see the sunset, see the sun setting behind the city, and it's going to be like just, I don't know. I love sunsets.
Yeah.
Especially being like in a different city because I was traveling.
Oh, okay.
And like just I enjoy that, and like I had this expectation that I had voiced like, hey, I want to see this, and when I voice something, I mean like this is what I'm voicing. I'm voicing it for a reason.
Yeah.
Like. I don't think people realize that because a lot of people just say stuff to say it.
Flippantly,
Yeah. I'm like, no, I want to do this. But then I realized that I didn't then, like, I was like in that moment, I'm like, I felt something. I was like, crap. Like, I probably, I was a little pissed.
Yeah.
And I just kind of went with it because that's kind of my personality. Like, I'm like, okay, whatever, we're here. He doesn't want to, fine. But like, I had to get over that. I had to like process through that and be like, oh, I had this expectation I voiced it, but I didn't voice it hard enough either. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, I really want to do this.
Yeah.
And I think it's like that too. I mean, that's a very stupid example.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's also like a lot of the times we do have, even if it's subconscious expectations.
Yeah.
And like that I think affects us. We don't realize it, of like you have these expectations, or even like one other like example or process that I think might help people with too is like I've struggled with how God leads me. Just in life. Like that's been a struggle point for a long time.
Lead me when I want to be led.
Yeah. So in my head, it's like he's going to speak and it's going to be really clear, and I'm going to know, hey, this is the thing I need to do. Or I'm going to go to him and be like, hey, Lord, like, you know, what should I do in this situation? Like for me, this started with choosing a college. So I'm finishing high school. I'm like, you know, pretty like really trying to follow him on my own. So I'm like, okay, this is a great opportunity. Like I really want to hear his voice. I want to hear where I go to school. Like this is the rest of my life. You know, I knew I wanted to go for filmmaking. So then I like visit a few schools, and then there's one in Southern Ohio that I was like potentially going to go to. I'm like, Lord, should I go here? Like, I really want to hear you. And I don't remember if I fasted even too. I don't know. That would have been like one of the first times. I don't know for sure. But I was really trying to pray and like, I want direction. And I had this expectation of like, he's just going to be very clear. It's going to be an answer and it's going to be great. And then, you know, blah, blah, blah. It did not happen. It felt like there was no direction. It felt like there was like no answer, which was hard. And I'm like, okay. And
Yoo-hoo.
Yeah, exactly. But in retrospect, you know, I don't know, it was probably at least 5 years later, where I like saw just really how he moved in that, and how he was, I don't know if, you know, speaking, but definitely leading. Because basically what happened then was, I was applied for that school, got into that early, got accepted into that school in Southern Ohio. Financing though became an issue. So then we couldn't go. Like I just couldn't go. We had to get financial aid, and like even that like didn't work. And it was like, there's no money. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well, I'll just go maybe local. Just go to like a local college or something. Ended up going to a local college, and they had a film program. So I was like, oh wow, okay, cool. You know, not thinking anything of it. It's just a local college. I was like, eh.
Yeah.
But then went there, and then they had like even a project that they brought professionals in on. And then not really even aware of this, you know, as, you know, a kid too, like, or whatever, a teenager or whatever I was, teenager-ish or whatever. And then like they brought professionals in, and then like those people just started hiring me on stuff. Like, and I like, you know, got out of school, and then they just literally just got in the industry. Within a few years, I got in the union, and just like, looking back in retrospect, God was leading me the entire time.
Yes.
And it was just, he opened doors. And that was kind of, I think I'm learning that is like, this is how he leads sometimes, is he just opens doors.
Yes.
And like, we need to just walk through them.
Go until I say stop.
Yes. Yeah. And it was all like, I would even describe that all too as like, that was all just supernatural. Like how he just got me in, like the way you go from like college into the career
is not supposed to be that easy.
Is normally not, especially in the film industry.
Yeah.
That's a pain in the butt to get into.
Oh, yeah,
That's hard.
Yeah.
But he just opened doors, and it just, and then I was very like grateful, like kind of after the fact of just looking back and like, whoa, like you just opened doors in that. And it was almost just doing what was in front of me.
Yep.
Kind of. And it just happened. And I was obedient to that. It just to be like, oh, hey, I have this thing. And I wanted to start out in camera too. And that, like, that's a whole other thing where I'm like, I really want to be a camera assistant, come up through the ranks through that.
Yeah.
Just kept just not getting hired in camera, got hired in grip and electric. And then it just snowballed into that. And then that's the path that I went up into shooting. And I'm so glad that it went that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a God thing the whole time. Yeah. So I don't know. That's, but then it's like having to adjust those expectations. Because I think the other thing I always think of sometimes with even in scripture, how it says like, oh, and then, you know, so-and-so, he heard the voice of God and, you know, to do blah, blah,
You're
blah.
like, how did this actually play out?
And I do wonder.
Was it that explicit?
I wonder. Like, I think there was some moments where, like, in retrospect, that was it. But because I could even say that I could describe my story as that.
Yes.
It's like, and then God called me to go to this school. And then, but yeah, so like, I don't know. I always think that's interesting.
Yes.
And we tend to have such a specific view of it. And, you know, maybe there was moments.
Yeah.
But also maybe there wasn't. It was just, it's that quiet whisper. Or that,
I think about that mainly with Abraham when it's like, hey, leave your father's house and leave where you're currently living.
Yeah. And even that is like, there's no direction. There's like, yes,
that was it.
But it's like,
that was it. That was the instruction.
Where do I go? Like, well, how long is this going to be?
Yeah.
Like, that's,
like where are we traveling?
I need the details.
You want me to just leave?
Yeah. Cause I was even like, I think I was like processing this and I was in, I don't know if this is relevant, but I was in the Grand Canyon and I was like on a path. Oh, this is, I guess, relevant. I was on a path and like, processing through like how God leads me and stuff, and like I'm like I want like a map. I want like step by step directions.
Start and end point.
I want to see the whole thing. Like if I want to zoom out, I can zoom out.
Yeah.
And then I can see, you know, Siri's gonna tell me like this and then this, like then
turn left in 300 feet.
Yeah, except she's British. Like
I can't do a British accent. You don't want that.
But then I was like I'm in the Grand Canyon and it's like a cloudy day. It's like misty, like there's haze everywhere. But so I'm going down the path and like I took this photo, but it's like the path is there. Like I know the path goes for miles, but it's just like I see 20 feet of the path. There's a sheer cliff into nothingness, like 1,000 feet below or whatever. And then it's just mist and clouds. And that's kind of, I think, kind of the visual, you know, that's stuck in my head sometimes with like, he's there, he's leading, here's the path, but like we only know this stuff in front of us or barely even that sometimes. And that like is frustrating, but I think that's also part of the like faith like process too in like trusting.
What is it?
His
Not
leadership.
by sight?
Yeah.
Because you're like, I only see 10 feet ahead of me.
Yeah. We're like, well, can you do it? Like,
yeah.
What's the rest of the path? Does it get hard? Is there a bunch of rocks in the way? Like, does it just break off and now I'm going to have to start climbing down? But like, I think he has wisdom in that. Like somehow like that's better than us knowing. Cause I've thought about it. Maybe I've even done it where like, if I knew this is where I was going, I'd probably be like,
you wouldn't go.
No, like that's too crazy. How'd that happen? Or whatever.
If he had told me the last 5 years of my life, I would have said no.
Yeah.
If he told me everything that was going to happen in the last 5 years, I would have been like, you're insane. I'm not going to do that because that sounds horrible and painful and tough. Sounds like I'm going to be crying a lot. Sounds like you're stripping everything away. Sounds like you're going to ask me to do hard things. No, thank you.
And I think that's part of it too in the like, he knows us well enough to know that he just needs to let us know these details. Yeah. Just open up your home. Not this, you're going to be doing this for a year plus or whatever. You know, it's going to take you how long to go through Romans? Not 8 weeks. And all the other stuff that's going to come with that. Like,
no, open up your home.
Yeah. And then we're just stupid and like, oh, I want to know all the details. Like, it's like, no. So like, we got to remind ourselves sometimes of that. Like, okay. And that's where trust comes. Yeah. And that's faith. Like, okay, I'm just going to go with it.
Yep. What is it? You're going to make me break the Bible out. You're going to make me break the Bible out. Because what you just said about the path, I was like, wait, I just read this out of I think it's one of my favorite Psalms.
Ooh.
Yeah. But it's the TPT translation. So you know that they be doing things different. That's what it is. Okay. So this is Psalm 23, which we all know and love Psalm 23. Yeah. But in the TPT, starting in verse 2, it says, he offers a resting place for me in his luxurious love. His tracks take me to an oasis of peace near the quiet brook of bliss. That's where he restores and revives my life. He opens before me the right path and leads me along in his footsteps of righteousness so that I can bring honor to his name. Even when your path takes me through the valley of deepest darkness, fear will never conquer me, for you already have. You were talking about the path. I was like, wait a minute. I just read this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that kind of leads into like something that I've thought through, I think recently over the past year or two is like the path of like, I always equate everything to like storytelling too. But like the story journey kind of like, and that's really what we're on. Like, this is a journey that we're on. It's a, you know, it's a process. Like, you know, there's a process of growth.
Yep.
It's like
some character development.
Lots of character development.
Which is supposed to create endurance.
Yeah. But even that is like just that growth process. And like, this is a lifelong journey. Yeah. And I think we probably also have the expectation that, you know, things are going to change overnight. Sometimes that happens.
Sometimes.
Now and then things happen like that. Where just like, boom, something changes or whatever.
Yep.
But there is always that it's a process. It's a journey. It's like just the way it's said too is like running the race. It's a lifelong race. Sometimes that gets hard. Yeah. Sometimes that gets tiring. Yeah. And I think probably one of the disservices that I've seen is like, we don't realize that, or we don't talk about that. In like, it is a lifelong journey. Yeah. And I think that's too what just like talking about like seeing other people fall away is like, what happened with that? Yeah. And how does that not happen to me? Yeah. And I think that's huge, is to just be aware of that, and to like some of it comes down to from maybe it's based on works. Maybe it's people just like, oh, I'm supposed to do X, Y, and Z,
the
and
religious
serve
spirit.
and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And not living that relationship out.
Yes. Yes.
Too. And like, that's, you know, might be the case sometimes. Yeah. Or not experiencing him. The one thing too is like in scripture, it's like, you know, you did all these works for me, but I never knew you.
Lord.
Like, that's.
But we cast demons out in your name. We prophesied in your name.
Yeah. But I think the key word in there is new.
Yes.
Is like, he wants to know us. And like, we so often get sidetracked by other things. Yep. But it's like just that, like he created us. He created humanity. Like, he doesn't need us. Like, we're a bunch of weird, like small, tiny creatures who
the
are
angels
powerless.
looked at us like,
we're the like younger brother who's like,
like, why did you make this?
Yeah, they're weak and like, you know, they shouldn't get
they're
to
weak,
rule.
they're sinful.
Yeah, they're sheep.
They're stupid sheep.
But he chooses us. He said in humanity, you guys are kings and queens. You are the leaders, and you have stewardship of the
high priest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that, like, I think we often forget that too. But that's also part of purpose in that too. It's like he wants us to walk into those roles and that leadership and in stewarding well. Yep. And we sometimes we don't do that. But like it's a partnership he wants in that. And he calls us, but with that calling, and that calling's, you know, sometimes very specific to each of us, or general, but like within that calling comes the capability to do it. Yes. Like, he set it within us.
I don't call the equipped. I equip the called.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's something to that too, in like the like kind of humility, and like, we're just like, he is nobody's, like Psalm 8 is like so good. Yeah.
I love Psalm 8. Yeah.
But I like, there's this, I went through, this is years ago, but like I went through Exodus, and like, you see Moses' journey, like even at the start, like I realized that like,
not me having my full Moses moment on Sunday. Wait, I told you, did I not tell you guys?
I don't think, no.
Oh, it was like 2 hours before group. I literally was in the kitchen. And I was like, you got the wrong one.
Oh, yeah, you did mention bits and pieces of that. Yeah.
I was like, and I said, I'm having a full Moses moment. I was like, you got the wrong one.
But the thing is, though, earlier, so he's whatever. I love Prince of Egypt. Yeah. So he's a Prince of Egypt.
You know what's funny? I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh, so that,
I'm a bad Christian.
You are. No, I have it.
Okay,
if you want to watch
we'll have to have a movie. Movie marathon.
Yeah. So, no, that was actually the first movie that I saw in theater. Too. So there's like a special
connection
place in my heart for that. Yeah. But so, this is early on in his story. He's a Prince of Egypt, for lack of better terms. But he sees, this injustice, and he takes it upon himself to like, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to free these people.
I'm going to kill this Egyptian.
Yeah, either on purpose, not on purpose, whatever. He kills a dude and then like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Kind of
somebody
hits
found out. Yeah.
Somebody found out. They even pointed out, and he's like, peace out. Like, crap, I'm going to get killed. I'm going to run.
Me. Yeah.
And then he goes in the desert for, he goes in the wilderness for, 4 decades or whatever. He spends
40 years.
Spends 40 years in there.
Good old Midian.
But so then it's like, and then God calls him. Like, so it's like that. It's that process of he was being refined in the wilderness.
Yes.
But it took, it wasn't until recently that I noticed that like he had that compassion and that desire for freeing the people, for justice.
Yes.
That was there, and he, worked out of.
Yeah. It was just unbridled.
Out of the flesh. Yes, it was unbridled. Yeah.
Yes.
And then refined, and then he came back and did exactly what he was desiring to do, probably deep down.
Well, because you even see that when he gets to Midian at the well, that he drives the shepherds away from the women.
Yeah.
That they were like, I can only imagine. I feel like the Bible probably, I fear that in real life it was probably worse than the way that the Bible briefly kind of like describes that interaction. Of I'm saying how the women were being treated by the shepherds.
Yeah, maybe.
But to your point, Moses had that retribution, that what do they call it? Retributive justice.
Yeah.
Kind of like, hey, like this is wrong and I'm gonna step in. But again, it was in his own.
Yeah, it was on his terms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna deep dive in this now. Okay, we're doing it.
Go.
Because it all comes back. It all comes back to Genesis, like that, like 1 through 11 is like that's like everything builds off of that.
Yes.
But it's like that, like in the garden. It's like humanity is tempted by like, what are you gonna do? Like here's God's boundaries. Here's, I like to say, like, this is his fences. Like, this is what you need to live within. This is wisdom.
Yep.
Don't go eat from this fruit tree over here. Like this, you've got all this. This is within, what you can do. This one is a no-no. So
and it's not punishment, it's protection.
Yes. It's wisdom. It's God's wisdom.
Yes.
And in that, like, it's this temptation of like, I'm going to define good and bad on my terms. I'm going to take matters into my own hands and do whatever I want to do.
I will be like good. God.
Yes, this is good to me. It's like, it looks like good food. And that's the same thing with Moses. Like, he's like, I'm going to do this thing on my own.
Yep.
And just justice on my terms. And that's, we're all there. That's our
I will
story.
be my own God.
Yeah, because I know better.
Yes.
I'm better at this, apparently. God's like, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and every time we do that, for those of us who know the truth, it don't work out well.
Yeah.
It's never worked out well for me. Every time I've tried to be like, I got it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
It's not the way. It is not the way. Yeah. No. Oh, man. I love Exodus. I love Exodus so much. I could preach like probably 10 years on just that book, but okay, maybe not 10 years, but I could preach a lot on that book. Yeah, I'd be having my Moses moments out here. I think I said to Faith the other day, what cracks me up is that when they're on top of the mountain, he's getting the rest of the law and, you know, they're doing the golden calf shenanigans. And God says, your people are down.
Wow, wait a minute.
I love that so much. Like every other time, it's like, my people, Israel, my people.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
your people are acting a fool on some tomfoolery. Oh my gosh. It's so funny to me every time I read that. Like, poor Moses in that moment.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I think I'm like, if I were in that position, I'd be like, yeah, you're right. You really should just wipe them out. But, you know, like, honestly, like, yeah, they've been a pain in my butt since we left.
But that's also not his response.
No,
too.
that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
That would be me if I were Moses. But that's what is incredible is Moses actually intercedes and offers himself as, like, the atonement of their wickedness. And it's like, you want to talk about, that's a shepherd. Lays his life down for the sheep.
Yeah.
That's a shepherd. Which he had 40 years of training in Midian, being a shepherd.
Yeah, literally.
Literally being a shepherd. David, shepherd.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
I will fight the wolves.
And yeah, that's something too that. Yeah.
Now we got pastors just inviting them in.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a wolf? Dressed in sheep's clothing? Come on in. Come on in. And then they start feeding on the sheep. Where's the shepherd? We don't know.
When I just listened to something the Bible Project did on Jude, and like they talk about that. Yeah, you should listen to that series.
Is that through Bible Project?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They have a podcast. It's like 5 or 6 episodes, I think.
Oh, okay. That's what Jackie Hill Perry has a study on
that's right.
on
Okay.
Jude. I didn't I didn't completely do the whole thing, but
yeah. But it talks about how, and it's like it's using examples throughout the Old Testament of like where people came in essentially and kind of like did shenanigans, like taking over or whatever, and like hey, like he's like, you guys, you're having people in your crowd or whatever who's they're like this person, and you better squash that, otherwise this is where you're gonna end up.
Yeah. And actually discern that.
Yeah.
Actually have discernment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy concept. Crazy thing that maybe we should start praying for more often in the body as well is discernment.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust my own.
Yeah.
I need
like,
the Lord to like.
Well, sometimes in that too is like I think there's a process of learning even discernment in like sometimes it's like, is this my voice?
Yeah.
Is this his voice? Like,
and then I go back and I argue.
Yeah.
It's only one of two choices.
And yeah. But then there's also that like.
But I get it because I've been there.
Yeah, because sometimes it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you also might have people who are like, oh no, that's not true. And you're like, okay, maybe my discernment's off. Yeah.
That's a whole other podcast, Kevin.
Sorry.
No, but that
Yeah.
I make that face and I have that reaction because that was my reality.
Yeah.
That was my reality. And I thought that my discernment was off. And I had people making me question not even myself, but what I now know was the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
I was questioning that because I'm like, oh, well, like this person that I trust is like saying that I'm wrong. I'm crazy. I'm what, Yeah. And it's like hindsight 2020. Nope. You had me the whole time.
Yeah.
That's my Abba right there. He had me the whole time. Oh, yeah. God help the church. And I talked about this, on the podcast before. I'm still repairing my relationship with the church.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have some walls. I have some discernment up. But I think I'm trying now. Again, it can get to an unhealthy point. But I am a believer of that's not necessarily bad. It's like you need to like have discernment because not all churches are created equally. And there's some churches that I arguably would say run for the hills.
Because there's something to that, like discernment, and then also, like, I guess, I don't know, for lack of a better term, like protecting yourself or being smart about it. But there's also that, like, you're also aware. So you know you're guarded.
Yes.
And I think that's good to know that, but also to be like, okay, is this a situation that I should be guarded too?
Correct.
I think there's moments too where it's like, no, I'm hindering things with the guard up.
Yes.
Or shutting things down or whatever. Like, this is actually a safe place.
Right. Yes. And that's where it's like the unhealthy portion is like you're actually blocking like what God's trying to maybe even have you receive in a local church body like that. But I think especially for anybody who has, you know, seen some things, been through some things, I think it's you just move with more wisdom. It's oh, okay, now I know what to look for in the pastor. Now I know what to like, if I see, I'm like, because, and again, I'm not saying it's a one size fits all situation, but there's certain patterns of behavior, of character that now I'm much more wise in. Okay, this is not a shepherd. They can give a good teaching. Cool. This is not a shepherd. And again, I have no issue if churches, again, going just back to what we started with of like, if they have that separation of like, we have a pastor, we have a teaching pastor, like, I don't have an issue. I'm the type of person where I'm like, y'all actually don't understand that I don't have a problem with a lot of things if we just call things for what they are. Name a spade a spade. Don't call him a pastor if he's not shepherding. Don't call him a teacher if he's not called and gifted in teaching. Like, call a spade a spade. Because I think naming things and giving things clear definitions and boundaries in our, like, human context, I think definitions are important for people to have an understanding. And, you know that saying where they say, like, clear is kind? I think that actually helps bridle expectations then. Because then you're not expecting something that is unrealistic because you have a clear definition of what this is and what this isn't.
Because a lot of the breakdown comes with that of having this expectation, and if things are not clear, like, you know, if I was in a friendship with someone or whatever, like if, you know, we're hanging out or something and in my head, I'm like, oh, we're going to do blah, blah, blah. And like, that doesn't happen. Like,
and then because what I hate more than anything is people who can't sit in the tension with people and they go, well, you're having unrealistic expectations. And I go, so I'm not saying in all areas that's not sometimes true, because we all have that in certain areas of our life. We just have unrealistic expectations. But I actually am like, no, how much of this was I was led to believe one thing because it was not clearly explained or defined to me, which had it been, I wouldn't have had this expectation. See, then that's where I go into like, this is where, honestly, one of my maybe faults is like, sometimes I feel like I'm an over communicator because I never want there to be an unclear explanation of something so that you don't have misconstrued expectations. Because I guess I'm almost like compensating for the faults of other people where like I've been on the receiving end of a lack of communication. So I over communicate. Sometimes I've noticed that about myself. But it's a compensation. I'm not even saying like there's something like wrong with that. I just like, I know where that comes from.
I think there's something too. There's something I've noticed recently, like, I don't know if it's just personality type. I'm not sure. Or mature. I don't know. But there's something like with just being aware of yourself. And I don't know if that, because I feel like we're both very aware of things, of ourselves and stuff. And like, I just, maybe that's not everyone, because I think it's not everyone.
I don't think it is.
And I don't know. And I'm also not saying that that's like, oh, I'm like so good that.
No.
At all.
It's just truly some people have awareness and some just seem to not have as much.
I don't know what that is either. But I feel like, I don't know. I think it's so important. Just because, I don't know, so many areas. Just for myself, just to.
I think for us though, that probably comes from the perfectionism. Where, like we talked about earlier, we're our own worst critic, so we are aware of ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it's like, I usually don't need somebody to tell me where I'm, like, falling short, because I usually already know. I may not know how to fix it or have the tools to fix it, but I usually know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I got you.
Yep.
Yeah, like, I've got all these issues, but I don't know how to
I don't know what
them.
to do with them, but I know that they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell me
Yeah,
twice.
yeah.
But I feel like sometimes, like, people are just not aware of things like that, or honest with themselves too, which is like, I don't know how you get to that point though, but because I think it's important.
It's very hard to be, whether it's about you or about somebody else, it's very hard to be honest with yourself, because that comes with grief. Or it can come with grief, because now it's you can't live in naivety anymore. You can't live with, like, the rose-colored glasses on of this person. Like, the reality of this person isn't what I thought they were is grievous.
Yeah.
This person didn't meet the expectations I had, whether realistic or not. It's grievous, which is why you have people, unfortunately, I'm learning in mass scale, wanting to just be lulled into a false security. Everything's good. Everything's peachy. No, we don't need to hold this person accountable for this, because that's the harder thing.
Yeah.
Honesty, accountability, those are the harder things.
Yeah.
So we would just rather, I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to call this person out. I'm not going to tell them how they offended me, because that gets hard.
But I think that's the thing too, is like, that's necessary, or that's necessary for growth.
And why do you think that we have so many Christians on the baby food?
Yeah. They just want to be spoon-fed. Yeah. And I understand security. Like, I know I struggle with that personally. Like, part of my, like, I don't know, personality is like, I need to feel secure. And sometimes it takes a lot for me to feel secure.
But where does security ultimately come from? And then that's where I go to. The Lord.
Yeah.
He's going to deal with that in whatever way. It's different for everybody. But for me, he's like, security, I'm going to give you a job that is not normal, and you have no financial security. I'm going to start to, like, deconstruct. I know people love that word, but literally all of these relationships, all of these things that you thought were of importance or of a certain whatever, I'm going to make that unstable. I'm going to remove these people. Now that's unstable. Like, these people that you thought were going to be in your life till you died. Guess what? Not the case. I'm not trying to say that like he's like doing that to just be like mean, but it's like, no, where does your security come from?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to remove you. I'm going to remove all these people in your dating life that you thought maybe could, like, they provided some sort of security or stability. Guess what? They could be here today, gone tomorrow. Guess what? That money, here today, gone tomorrow. That church, here today, gone tomorrow. What's the only thing left standing? Him. Security. And I'm not saying like I'm perfect in that all the time, but I will say, like, now more than ever in my life, because I learned it the hard way, I can, like, that's something I feel like I can, like, speak on, because I'm like, oh no, we went through the gamut. And he was like, nope. What do you have left? Me.
Not you.
Yeah. I'm saying the first person. Yeah. He's like, I'm left.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably going through that a little bit personally, even after all these years. Like, because sometimes I trust myself. Like, I feel like probably 6 years ago, I realized that I'm like, oh, my security is in my job. And I find, and that's especially as men, that's a very
prevalent thing.
Yes. Where it's like my security was in working. You know, I'm not providing for anyone else. I'm just providing for myself. But it's like there is something to that provision aspect, and that like I am doing this on my own. I'm gonna provide. I'm gonna get work. I'm gonna make work for myself. And that's been a struggle over the past probably 6 years of just working through that. Like it's got its ups and downs. But I don't know it all either right now too. I'm still processing and struggling through it. But I'm trying to like just surrender and be like, okay, Lord, like you are my provider. Like at the end of the day, like you are my provider. I will do what's in front of me. Which is hard and like necessary though too. Because I rely on myself for a lot. Like that's probably the perfectionist type thing too. It's like I'm gonna do this myself.
Self-sufficient. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, nope, you're gonna trust me.
But he's gonna put you in positions where you have no choice. I just kind of touched on that in the podcast I recorded today, because reading through Exodus with them at the Red Sea. So it's Red Sea or it's Egyptians. Literally. And he told Moses he was going to do this. This wasn't like scheming. This wasn't like a surprise. He told Moses, hey, you're going to lead them to this point, because then I'm going to show up and I'm going to have glory. And I'm going to, these Egyptians that you see standing here today, you're not going to see them again. And see, people don't like this theology, but it's like, I'm experientially, this is real. I will put you in a position, I'm saying God saying this, I will put you in a position of desperation and of direness, because then there's no other way. You cannot say I did. You cannot say I earned. You cannot say I provide. No, you're going to say the Lord did. The Lord provided. The Lord rescued. Like putting you intentionally in these positions where there's no other way out. There's no other way out for them at that point unless he shows up. God, if you don't show up, we're done. Right? Like that's the direness of the situation. You don't show up, these Egyptians are going to kill us all or take us back into slavery, like, or both, whichever. We're done. If you don't come through, we're done. And the older I get, the more situations like that I have. I'm not saying like I'm going to lose my life necessarily at this point, but like, Lord, if you don't show up, that's a wrap on this, like whatever it is. If you don't show up, shoot, this ain't happening. But I wouldn't be, he's had to force my hand in some areas to put me in that desperate of a position where I fully go, this is yours. I'm relying on you. I'm dependent on you. I'm not dependent on myself. I'm not relying on myself. I'm not even going to make an idol out of the studio I work for that like let's not pretend that they're my provider. Like they're just the source. But they're not my provider. That's you. But if he doesn't, and again, people don't want to talk like that because that's the trial. That's the hard part. That's the uncomfortability on this journey of things aren't rainbow and sunshine. I didn't get $1 million once I started following Jesus. You know, it's like quite the opposite. The more I go, the more severe things seem to get. And the more miraculously he shows up.
Because it's like it's a process. It's a journey of sanctification too. Like I think for me, 2020 was really hard because work slowed down, and I just had to pray. I'm like, Lord, like you have to provide. Like I have no like there. I think it was I didn't work for 69 days straight, and was like, okay, Lord, like this is on you. Like and that's hard for me because I'm like I want to provide. I want to do that. Like, but it's just like it's a surrender. And that's like I've been diving into a little bit of like the dark night of the soul. and kind of how that it's almost like the all is lost moment in like the story arc of like getting to that point where like nothing, like you get to the end of your rope and like nothing works, nothing, you're at the like
you come to the end of yourself,
pinnacle moment, and like that's full like
this is it.
I realized where I'm at, who I was, and I tried everything on my own and fighting and screaming, and now I'm at the bottom of the pit. And then like having to go through that, and that's, you know, that's where and that's multiple, that's not just like a one-time thing. It's like doing that in different seasons, different things too, of like, okay, this refining process of this, going through that to get to that low moment of like, okay, now you're gonna trust me, like finally.
Yeah, that's what he's like.
Yeah,
I've been waiting.
Yeah, so I could have done it easier. You just wanted to.
Yeah, we could do this easy way. We could do this the hard way.
A bigger pit. Like.
Yeah, not the videos of like the sheep that like the shepherd gets them out of the pit and they yeet themselves like right back into the That's us. That's us. Oh my gosh, that video is so great. I remember I saw that on Instagram. I was like, I should have saved it. Maybe I did. I can't remember, but just literally like they just get done pulling him out and he's like, boop, like right back in this ditch. It's like, but I'm like, that's us. I'm like, it's easy for us to be like, you dumb sheep, but then he's like, you dumb sheep. I love you. I love you.
Like we joke about that with like the Israelites. Well, like they're doing this thing again. This person's doing
them. They are us.
Oh yeah.
I said, listen, I'm gonna swear on the podcast. Everybody gear up. I said, ain't shit changed in thousands of years.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm like, this is me. I am them. Mm-hmm. They are that.
Yep. Same thing, just over and over again.
Mm-hmm. The patience is incredible.
Yeah.
The patience is.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to understand because I lack patience a lot.
Yeah.
We're working on it. I lack patience a lot. I can't even begin to like I said, I would be like up on the mountain, like, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of these people. We're just gonna start again. I'm sick of them. I can't even blame him. I cannot even blame him. I think we're gonna start landing the plane. Any final thoughts on anything that we've talked about?
I don't think so.
I think this was a good convo.
Yeah. I know there's random moments where I was like, oh.
Yeah, I have those too. Yeah.
I was just like.
It's one of those things where like you can't like possibly like hit everything even when you like think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me look at my notes.
Yeah. Look at the notes.
Get decapitated by the
the microphone.
We didn't really dive into unity that much.
That might be a whole separate thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try to read those books and we'll have to have you back on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unity in the churches.
I think that was
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a big one.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I think that was really the only thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm wondering if I should like maybe read those books and then we could like walk through that a little bit more.
I mean, even just until unity, just maybe just read that.
Oh yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think that would be. I went through my notes. I didn't read them. I like was formatting them because they were all jacked up. But I want to go through and read them again. Yeah. And then I know I have some that are like I basically copied and pasted all the highlighted things, and then I like highlighted some of those that were like really important.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to go through and read that then, and then maybe you can come back on.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
To like. And just
the health of the church,
sacrificial love, and like choosing love and choosing like I'm hurt by you. Mm-hmm. I'm still going to choose that. I'm going to choose the best type of thing. Like I don't know. I guess I have lots of thoughts on that.
Yes. Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, we'll have to do. You'll definitely have to come back on.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's so much to always talk about and go through. But I know we referenced you guys. I'll tag the Tabernacle video in the description. I will also link that Bible Project video I was talking about. And then I know Kevin and I both love the Bible Project. So I would encourage you, if you want to go deeper, be a little nerdy like we are to get into some stuff. And then Kevin, I know, brought quite a bit of resources that he just wanted to share. So I'll just let him kind of, well, he's breaking the mic. I'll just let him kind of take over, the resources you brought of books that you said that you read and have just been helpful in your walk with the Lord. So we'll just kind of wrap up with a quick
nerdy deep dive.
Quick nerdy deep dive on these.
Yeah. I have not read this whole book because it's a little thick.
She's thick. What is that?
Yeah. So this is, I don't know of a good place to do it. It's probably right here. This is Strong's Concordance. This is like super nerdy. You can do all this online. I like physical books.
Yeah.
What's kind of cool is my dad had one of these. So growing up, he kind of acquainted me to it.
Okay.
And it was super helpful.
Is that the thing that you showed us at Miranda's, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So basically, you could probably look it up online, like how to actually do it. But it's basically got like a concordance, so it has like the word, and then it also it associates that word. So if you look up, I think we were looking up fasting or something. I don't remember. No, it's prison, but fasting.
Prison.
I don't. Weird deep dive.
I was like, look up jail.
Yeah, that's what it was. So let's say look up whatever. I forget I'm trying to think of specific wordings, but that's fine. So like look up like life or something, and then it'll have like the scripture verses, and then next to those verses it has the number, the Strong's number. Basically like Mr. Strong's like a long time ago came up with a numbering system for like each word in scripture.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I think I would rip my hair out. God bless people who do that.
So it's got the number, and then that goes. Then there's a section in the towards the back that it's like the Hebrew numbers and the Greek numbers, and then those numbers then basically has the definition and a little bit of info about that and kind of how it's used or how it's translated. So this is just super helpful to really get into the deep nitty gritty nerdy like words of like, okay, what does this word mean? I like physical things too, so like having the physical copy is cool, and I rarely actually like take this out and put my Bible next to it and like that type of thing, because it's easy just to go online. Blue Letter Bible is awesome resource for that. So that's typically like what I use when I'm online, and that's pretty easy. You just click on the thing and then you can deep dive.
Find it. Okay.
Yeah, and then so that's a whole cool resource. And then I just brought some like books that I feel like these have been very probably pivotal in my walk. There's a lot more that have been helpful, but like these ones, I only have books that I really, really love. Yeah. I just want to have a small library. So I brought,
You're a minimalist.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. So Crazy Love, Francis Chan. This is awesome. It's an older book. It really dives into like that, just having like it's that relationship of like, and I love the arrows too. It's like that relationship between you and God and me and others too.
Yes.
Our love for him, his love for us, and how that comes out to be like, it's more than just checking a box. Right. It's like actually loving others. It's like loving the church. Yes. And loving the community around us as well. So that's good. And I kind of put these in order of probably where I read, like how I read them, and then like introductory into like super nerd. That was super nerd. So that
that should have been last. But super nerd.
Waking the Dead, John Eldridge. He's awesome. These are more tailored towards men. Okay. He does one with his wife called Captivating as well. But this one, he's like we'll say all the books are very similar, but some of them are like they're geared in certain areas. This one I think was probably college or so when I read it, but it really dives into just waking up the heart. Okay. Especially as men, and just being like really diving into that and like coming back to like life. And it kind of does dive into like just the journey of a man as well.
I love that.
And I feel like it's also helpful for women to read too, because there's definitely some that are like you could understand bits and pieces of it, but then it's also helpful to understand how a man works.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
Because it talks about like a battle to fight, a battle to live, and then like someone to fight for, a beauty to fight for. So there's all those elements. Wow. You understand like, oh, this is how he works or whatever. Let me try to get the right order of these. This is a series. There's a 3-part series. This guy is awesome. The Good and Beautiful God, Good and Beautiful Life, Good and Beautiful Community. Yeah. So these are kind of like it's like a trilogy.
Love that.
But he dives into really, I don't know, it's just how to describe it. It's like really good and helpful, like living, like how, and it starts with God, like our relationship with God, and then our relationship in just how we do life, and then in community. And it's just, I don't know, it's just so helpful. He was trained by Dallas Willard.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't like you. Yeah, this is when I do it. So he is Dallas Willard's Padawan.
There it is.
That's it.
He was waiting all podcasts to make that reference.
I just remembered it and I botched it, but that's fine.
Yeah. No.
But so like Dallas Willard is awesome. He is very deep and heady.
Right.
Sometimes it's hard to read and stuff. This guy is like, he's very practical and like it's much easier to read. It's more digestible.
Yeah.
So that's helpful. This is a fun one.
I love that one. So this is one that I've also actually read too.
Yeah. So this is emotional healthy spirituality. There's also emotional healthy relationships. I have not read that yet.
I have not read that.
I need to read that. Definitely. This one dives into like almost, I would almost say like these are kind of like this is like a next step. There's similarities in stuff in between.
Yes.
But that's also just like diving into just like we tend to just focus on spirituality and being spiritually mature and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, as Christians, we're not that emotionally mature most of the time.
Yep.
And some people are kind of offended by that. But yeah.
Spiritual maturity does not inherently equal emotional maturity.
Not at all.
Yeah. And emotional maturity does not inherently equal spiritual maturity.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like he just deep dives in that and gives some like practical stuff. There's a workbook as well. And then he does like I think it's a bunch of like videos as well.
Okay.
So like it's also like I think these 4 really are meant to be read in community too.
Okay.
Now I have not read these in community yet. So when we finish Romans,
Kevin's like wink wink.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So this is nerdy. This is I wouldn't say this is scholarly. It's a little scholarly. It might be a little too much for people.
Okay.
This is kind of what started to get me into like biblical narrative and into like kind of the Hebrew and the thought process, and into like all that nerdiness.
Okay.
Art of biblical narrative.
Okay.
I also love narrative too. So this like I love the Old Testament.
Same.
I'm just weird like that.
I love the Old Testament.
I just love story. I think there's so much depth to things in that, and like he really dives into like how is this structured and like just a lot of weird nerdy stuff.
Love that.
Yeah, he also does the art of biblical poetry. For some reason, that book was really hard for me to read. Probably also have a problem with poetry. That's a me thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
This is Dangerous Deep Dive, The Unseen Realm.
That's the one you told me I need to.
Yeah.
Okay. Get
This is
spiritualized.
very, very scholarly. This is sometimes hard to read. There is another version, I think it's called Supernatural, that is like probably half the thickness and it's very basic.
Digestible.
It's like this, but like the dumbed down version.
Okay.
Because this can get a little hard to read.
The Unseen Realm for Dummies.
Yes, basically. Yeah. But this one is really good. This dives into like the spiritual worldview. He kind of is, I think, at the forefront kind of now in like almost re-diving back into scripture and seeing it as they would have seen it like throughout time in like a lot of the spiritual elements.
Yes.
Like we tend to, as the church, kind of brush over
Tiptoe,
certain passages or tiptoe around like
the insanity.
The spiritual realm. And like so he dives into that, especially like Genesis 6, that whole buffoonery.
Yep.
And how that plays out throughout scripture and history.
Wow.
And it's a good nerdy like
I
that.
love
That's the nerdiest one probably.
The nerdy one.
It's good. He's got a bunch of other books as well, too. So that's your nerdy list.
I think that's Sean telling me that the camera died. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So those are great resources for people. I also thank you for the brief summaries because I think that'll help. I think that'll help people be like, oh, this one maybe not this one. So
they're great like springboards then.
Yes.
Yeah.
To deeper. Yes. So again, guys, this is supplemental resources. This is not in place of Bible. This is not in place of scripture or worship or as Kevin reaches for
This is the best one.
This is the best one, the Bible.
Seen a few years.
Yeah. No, I feel that too. My spine's starting to break.
I have like multiple breaks in my spine.
Yeah. That's a sign. That's a good sign is if your spine on your Bible's a little cracked and beat up. But thank you for being on I appreciate it. I love the conversation. We will have to have Kevin back again, talk about unity, maybe some other things. But we thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for watching. I just pray that this episode blesses you, meets you where you're at, and hopefully some of these resources you find helpful, useful, and it just encourages and engages your walk in your intimacy with the Lord. But thank you for joining us, and we will see you on another episode of For the One Podcast.
Cute, but dumb. Cute, but stupid.